want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
It was around 4:30 in the morning when Renisha McBride's life ended here on this front porch.
Received a 911 call from a male. Thinks he just shot someone on his porch.
This man had absolutely no justification to take a shotgun and blow her head off.
He was acting and reacting to escalating fear.
His actions that night were unnecessary, unjustified, and unreasonable.
Some shocking testimony and a lot of finger-pointing in the Renisha McBride murder trial. It started this week in Detroit. Theodore Wafer is accused of shooting and killing the 19-year-old last year. Prosecutors say McBride had been banging on his door because she needed help after a car crash. Well, criminal defense attorney Danny Savalos joins me now. Danny, good to see you.
Hi.
You know, initially, he had said this was accidental. He then changed to self-defense. Is this a legal strategy because he may be lawyered up and they suggested that that could be a better defense?
It's a dangerous legal strategy because when you think about it, accident and self-defense are logically inconsistent because one is an unintentional act and the other one is an intentional act. I killed someone, but I had a reason for doing so. What you find is that these statements that he made to police initially are that, oh, it was an accident. And now that's going to come back to haunt him because that statement, he may not have been aware that later on lawyers would be dissecting it and throwing it back in his face at trial. However, I will say that a federal court in Michigan has suggested that you can use a defense where you draw a gun lawfully in self-defense and then thereafter it accidentally goes off. But be warned, courts many other places have said this idea of accidental self-defense does not fly.
And doesn't go over well. We've seen so many stand your ground cases. There's an instant reaction to that word, I think, in this country because of so many of the cases that we've seen. And also a lot of this testimony is going to be dissected. A friend of McBride testified they were drinking the night that that she was killed. I want to play some of that testimony now. Take a listen.
How much of the alcohol that you had purchased was consumed?
We drank about half the bottle.
Were you smoking anything?
Yes.
What were you smoking?
Marijuana.
And what form? Was it cigarettes?
A blunt.
How many blunts would you say was consumed?
Probably about 3.
So smoking marijuana, drinking. Autopsy report showed that the alcohol level was 3 times above the legal limit. How significant is that when you have someone who is knocking on a door, drunk and high, and a man saying he's fearful for his life?
You know, we use experts in civil trials all the time to extrapolate, draw inferences from someone's blood alcohol content and the level of their visible intoxication. The other thing is, as you watch this, people may be thinking, why in the world is the prosecution putting on this witness? And with a friend like this, you know, who needs enemies? But be warned, that friend probably gave a statement, certainly gave a statement some years ago, and so she's locked into that statement. And the prosecution is using a textbook rule, which is if you have anything bad about your case in chief, you be the one to get it out there. Don't let the defense throw it back in your face when they present their case.
Well, here's another piece of the case that they're going to have a challenge with. He shot through a locked door inside his own home. If he feared for his life, he's locked inside of his home. How is that going to be difficult for the defense to overcome? Well,
actually, the part where you say home makes it easier for the defense, and here's why. Michigan has a kind of stand your ground. It has self-defense where if you honestly believe that you're about to suffer serious bodily injury, you can use deadly force. But another part of the law gives gives a presumption that if you are in your home, a presumption arises that your honest belief and your use of deadly force is reasonable. Now, that still may not get this defendant over those facts that you just mentioned.
The locked door.
He was shooting from not only a locked door, but from within his house, outside his house. Now, the law has said that your porch could be considered part of your house. For example, if you had a shed 100 yards away from your house, that's not really considered your house. But if it's your porch, it's probably going to be considered part of your house. The real question is, as a culture, are we comfortable with people being authorized to take a shotgun and shoot outside of their home?
It's going to be an interesting trial as it gets underway. Danny Savalos, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.